Hello, YouTube. Welcome back. How was your weekend? Happy Sunday. It's been relatively reasonable weather, and then today it just pounded snow. So after this, we're gonna go shovel before it gets super freezing and the snow is no longer fluffy and soft, but instead it's really hard and heavy. So hopefully, if we go and do that, now when it's like not minus a million, it won't take us like 6 hours. I'm just joking. It won't take us a super long time for us to finish all of our shoveling. I see Lori's here. Hey Lori, how's it going? So nice to see you. Mr. Ranger Lab. Hi friends. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Today I'm excited to oh, why am I looking at my camera settings? I meant to share my screen. I'm excited to do a video on common job scams. And I've really been enjoying doing research on different kinds of topics that I could do on my channel. And my next scammy video is probably going to be a romance scam video. And I haven't done any research on it. I just quickly Googled it to see what romance scams actually are. And it's interesting. And I told my mom about it, and she said one of her friends, they appeared to be in a relationship with someone online. They made plans to meet. She thought it was a real relationship, and then they said, "Oh, I need $10,000 from you for this random reason." And then thankfully my mom's friend was like, "No, that's sketchy. This is a scam." And then she just cut contact. But that's going to be my next scammy video. Oh, I'm glad Lori thinks this is going to be interesting. Yay. So we're going to start with an Indeed page that tells us very general information about 17 common job scams. And I have a Reddit post, and then I have a news article. Yes, catfish attempt, for sure. For sure, Mr. Rangelab. I think that'll be a really interesting topic. So, I'm ready to go. I struggled a little bit with my throat in my stream yesterday. I feel a lot better, but if I happen to feel shitty, we will just do this in two parts. Because I feel fine now, but we shall see. Okay, I'm ready. Scammers use a variety of strategies to trick people into sharing personal information. Here are 17 common job scams to avoid. One is fake job listings. Fake job listings come in various forms. Though job sites have measures in place to verify legitimate employers, scammers sometimes manage to get their listings posted. Other fake listings appear on social media profiles created expressly to deceive job seekers. These listings normally ask candidates to pay a fee to complete their application or to get started in the role. When I was reading research about how to protect yourself against these scams, you never have to pay for an application fee. You never have to pay an employer before you get started. If you're required to do a criminal record check, if you're required to do a credit check, which that is sometimes the case, your employer will reimburse you for it, and you do not need to do those kinds of checks at the beginning of the process. Only times I've ever done things like that is when I have an offer. When I have an offer, then they ask me for that. No, yeah, when I have an offer, because the offer is contingent on me passing the criminal record check and the credit check. So yes, I only get those when I have the offer. Oh, hey, Anastasia, it's nice to see you. Yay, I have friends. Oh, Tori's here. Hello. Nice to see you, Tori. Thank you for being here. Imposters. Sorry, this is job scams, common job scams. An imposter is someone purporting to be someone else. In the context of job scams, they usually pose as an affiliate of an agency, government institution, or hiring firm. Imposters often ask candidates for a screening fee in the form of gift cards or a wire transfer. And it's really easy, I think, to look at these and say, well, why would we fall for that? We should be smarter. And I'm thinking if someone is, say, new to Canada and they're not aware of how how looking and obtaining a job in Canada actually works. They may not know that being asked to pay to apply to a job is a huge red flag for a scam. I could also see someone who is very, very young, just out of school, seeing this and not knowing that that's not normal, or someone who's in a really financially vulnerable position who's just trying really hard to get a job may see this, think it's a red flag, but then just ignore it because they need a job. Oh, you're listening to DC's 12-hour stream? That's awesome. Yeah, I was listening to it earlier today. I was listening to it. Yay, I have friends here. It's so fun. Okay, email offers. You may receive an oh, my throat's hurting. The first 5 minutes was good. You may receive an email from someone claiming to be a recruiter who found your resume on a job board. Some emails come from legitimate recruiters, but others may come from dishonest people trying to deceive you. Often, the dishonest ones ask you for sensitive information, such as identification or bank account numbers. Again, you do not need to give employers that until, at least in my experience, you have an offer. You have an offer. And in my experience, recruiters are not going to offer you a job if you didn't have an interview. Legitimate real recruiters may or may not be offering you an interview, or they may encourage you to look at the job posting, but they're not going to be offering you a position. Scammers who offer informational material often pose as hiring experts who can optimize your candidacy for a position. For a fee, they promise to give you essential information that can help you both secure and prepare for an interview with the company you want. In reality, such information is normally available on the employer's website, their job listing, or various free sources, and the purported advisor reaching out to you has little of value to offer. Now, these scams try to get you out of your money. They try to find ways for you to give them, like, pay a fee for an interview or to start a position, or they try to get your personal information so they can steal your money or steal your identity. Interviews via online messaging service. In this type of scam, the scammer notifies you that you've been selected as one of the finalists for a position, usually one to which you never applied. When it comes time to arrange an interview, they may reveal that it's an online interview through a specific messaging service, which asks you to input personal information to complete the setup. The scammer can then access the information you've provided. In my opinion, doing an online service, an online interview, is not necessarily a red flag. But while I was doing my research for this, I don't remember which source this was. There was a piece of advice that said if you have to download something onto your computer that you don't know about, that is not a common type of software like Microsoft Teams or Zoom, then it could be a scam. I need to cough. Sorry, friends. Because it's not necessarily a scam to interview online, because for my current job, we interviewed on Microsoft Teams. So I feel like for some of these, it could be kind of challenging to realize that it's actually not a real opportunity. Okay. A common money laundering strategy involves a scammer reaching out to you via email or a job posting. They may try to convince you to accept a sum of money and to use your personal bank account to transfer to another account, allowing you to keep a percentage. Usually, the rationale behind this circuitous transmission is that it would be easier and more efficient to use your account instead of theirs. The scammer is actually trying to acquire your bank account information. Again, don't give them any information about your bank account, don't give them access to your information, because they just want your money. And then you could get in trouble for this. You could get in trouble for money laundering, and you could get charged potentially, and you might think that you actually had a true legitimate job opportunity. So sad. I already talked about credit reports. In a common credit report scam, the scammer claims that an examination of your credit history is necessary to verify your eligibility for the position. They may say that the job requires someone who's financially responsible. The fake employer might then ask you to pay for a credit report with your credit card, which results in their charging an unauthorized fee for it. Otherwise, they may suggest using a specific service to obtain the credit report, which you end up paying for in addition to other charges. So again, like a lot of these don't seem like they would be result in huge losses for the victims, but if this credit report scam group or whatever, if they're doing this to hundreds of people a month, thousands and thousands of people a year, this could add up. Because if you have hundreds of 50,000 people that you scam a year and they're all paying, I don't know, $100 for a credit report to your skeezy scam partner company, then that's a lot of money that you're stealing from people. While real employers do sometimes perform credit checks on employees, they very rarely do they ask the candidate to cover the cost. Credible companies typically handle credit checks on their own. Yes, I'm sure we've all been asked to what's the word? Consent to a credit check. I have for rental apartments, but I also have for jobs. It's normal. But it's not where you have to pay some sketchy ass company and then you don't actually get your credit report because it was a scam the entire time, and you get like this scammer cuts off contact from you the moment they have your money for the report. Career consulting. Career consulting scams occur when a person posing as a career consultant reaches out to praise your resume. They then mention that it could be better with some additional work. They either offer to improve your resume themselves or refer you to an alleged expert in exchange for a fee. There are people whose career, whose profession it is to be a career counselor, who can actually help you with it for probably free or very little money. And again, you're not going to be, say if you do pay a career consultant, it's not going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, but if you use a scam on hundreds of thousands of people, you're going to make a shit pile of money. Hello, PH actress. How are you? Nice to see you. Hey, Neil. Just got in from the supermarket and eating hamburgers. Woo! I had pizza for dinner. I had pizza. I hope your hamburgers are delicious. Oh, okay. Work from home jobs. The funny thing is MLMs are listed under the work from home scam category, which is really funny. The past few years have seen an increase in candidates seeking work from home positions. True, because of COVID. Scammers are aware of the rising popularity of remote work and target such candidates with work from home job scams. Often, the scams involves persuading a job seeker to pay a fee or purchase items. For example, the position may require you to submit an initial registration fee to start, with the promise of commissions if you can get others to sign on too. If the job exists, it's likely a type of pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing organization. How funny is that? That's funny. But yeah, a lot of people want to work from home now. And in my most recent job search, saw a lot of potentially sketchy posts, but I wasn't totally sure on LinkedIn. It would just say, oh, this is one of the scams that they're going to tell us. Data entry for this company, these hours, and then the job description would be like 4 points, and then that was it. And I'm thinking, with a job description that is so limited on information, I feel like that's not a real job. Okay, shipping schemes. This one's super interesting. I've been saying hi to Neil. Have fun. Also known as postal fraud, shipping schemes are a subcategory of work from home scams. The scammer offers an attractive salary for repackaging and reshipping goods, plus compensation for shipping fees. In most cases, the candidate ends up shipping potentially stolen items and paying for the shipping fees without the promised compensation or salary. Can you imagine? You ship stolen items. Again, you can get your ass put in jail, and it's not even your fault. Okay. If a listing or offer from a supposed government job asks you to pay a fee to apply or acquire information that can improve your candidacy, it's a scam. Government agencies don't require fees for candidates. Also, government jobs are accessible only through official channels, such as USA Jobs. Yes, government in Canada as well. I've applied to many, many government jobs, provincial, municipal. They will not ask you to pay them to apply. That is not a thing in Canada, and apparently not in the US either. This one's interesting. Equipment purchases. Some fraudulent employers claim to offer a candidate a remote job and then ask the candidate to submit payment for the remote work equipment, like a computer and monitor. Typically, the scammer claims the payment is mandatory before they can officially onboard you, and they promise to reimburse you for your paycheck. Once they receive payment, they keep the money and cease all contact. Some employers require employees to use their own equipment, but it's highly uncommon for a legitimate employer to ask you to submit payment directly to them for it. I'm going to take myself off camera for a bit. What do we think about this? Can you imagine how much money you could be potentially spending? I don't know how much my work laptop is, at least $500, if not more. And then if you want a monitor too, because not everyone can just do their work on a laptop, I'd say it could be like $1,000 potentially, at least in Canada. You could be scammed out of $1,000, and just imagine you're in a vulnerable position. Imagine you have been searching for a job for months and months. You think you found one. You do not have a lot of money. You're very unstable financially, and then you're scammed out of potentially $1,000 on top of that. It's just devastating. It's devastating. And again, a lot of these scams are not going to lead you to losing tens of thousands of dollars, but for someone who doesn't have a lot of wiggle room financially, $100, $500, $1,000 is devastating when you think you just got a new job. This scam advertises envelope stuffing. This scam advertises a remote job filling envelopes for a company, typically with the promise of surprisingly high weekly pay. The scammer requires a one-time payment before you can start, claiming this money covers supplies and processing. When you submit the payment and receive your assignment in the mail, it's usually a paper stating that instead of stuffing envelopes, your only job is to recruit another person for the scam. So you're told you're stuffing envelopes. You're told you have to send them payment. My question is, this is not very clear. After you send them payment, do they cease all contact from you or with you? And then you just sent them payment for the materials and then you don't have a job? Or if you fully participate in the scam, you recruit others for the scam, are you going to get paid? That part I don't really understand. Has anyone heard of this? Career advancement grants. This one was interesting too. If you receive an email encouraging you to apply for a career advancement grant from the government, proceed with caution. These scams usually claim the recipient is eligible for a grant to pay for higher education or professional development services. The email may include links to applications and state the government may deposit money directly into your account if your application is approved. Sometimes the sender claims they're with a specific government agency. In reality, these fake grants aim to steal personal information or money from you. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the government never sends unexpected communications about grant opportunities. This one seems a little bit more advanced because You're sent to grant applications and websites. But again, if you're not sure what government grants usually look like, how much work actually goes into them, you're not going to know how to look out for the red flags. You're not going to know necessarily if a government grant application is not like your average application. You're not going to be able to see the signs that it could be a scam, especially, yeah. And the sender could be claiming that they're from an actual legitimate government agency. So you could look up the government agency doing your due diligence, and then you see the government agency there and you say, okay, well, they work for this agency. And then you don't think to call the agency and say, hey, does Joe Brown work for you? Right? And so you could, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's an interesting one for sure. And I'm assuming for this, you would give like your personal information. They would probably ask you for your bank account number and things like that, and then probably try to steal money from you potentially. I'm looking at this one now, and I'm not fully understanding how they get money from us, because it's not saying they encourage you to apply for a fee. So that one's unclear. Okay, never mind. They tried to steal personal information or money from you. Sorry. I promise I prepared, and I thought these all made sense, and then looking at a few of them, I'm a little confused about them. High-paying data entry jobs. One of the industry's scammers target most commonly is data entry. Scammers often advertise illegitimate data entry jobs, claiming you can earn extremely high wages for little work. These jobs are rarely real, and after offering your position, the fraudulent employer may ask you to pay for training or share your bank account information. And again, after you accept an offer, after you get an offer, then it's totally normal for you to need to provide your bank account info because they need to pay you, right? And the only time I didn't have to do a bank account info is when I received my payments through checks. But usually it was EFT or direct deposit. And for all of those, they need your info and they need your social insurance number. So if you don't know how to look out for fake job postings, if you don't know what the red flags are, you're not going to think anything of it when you get to a job offer and then you are asked for your bank account information. However, we're going to talk about in the next screen how to make sure if your job offer letter is actually legitimate. So maybe we can read that, and if someone watches this, they'll know, hey, that's what a job offer should actually look like. Maybe mine isn't legitimate. Ugh. If you see a data entry job offering a wage that seems much higher than the market average, investigate the company. Try to verify its legitimacy and research its reputation before you apply or respond to communications. I love that advice. I would say try to research the company and find the job posting on the actual company website. I remember I did not actually end up applying for this, but I found a job posting that seemed real, seemed legitimate, and then I wrote the resume and my cover letter for it, and I went to the website and I'm thinking, why would this company be hiring this kind of position? And I looked and there were no job postings on the website, and I thought, that's a little strange, and I just didn't end up applying for it. Mystery shopper jobs. Yes, you're right, Anastasia. They definitely do. It's very sad. It's also common for scammers to advertise mystery shopping jobs on job boards and public forums. These postings may claim you can work a flexible schedule and earn a high salary by shopping online or in person and evaluating retail's customer service and offerings. If you're seeking a mystery shopper position, beware of companies that ask you to submit any payment upfront. They're rarely credible and typically collect payment without any intention of assigning you work. Again, Say you are desperate for a job. Say you really need a flexible schedule because you have a lot of kids or kids with high needs, and you see mystery shopper and you get paid a shit pile of money for shopping and you can pick your own hours. I could see why someone in a vulnerable position like that may be more likely to ignore the red flags, or, like I said, someone who doesn't know that it's a red flag to ask for payment might just do it and lose money. This is our last common type of scam. For this scam, the scammers target candidates seeking supplemental income from a side hustle. They may contact you by phone or email, informing you of an opportunity to buy luxury goods such as clothes, appliances, tech, or accessories at a discount. They then resell those items for a profit. They help you purchase inventory, but they never send you the items. So this could be a loss of thousands of dollars if you are buying luxury goods to resell them, but then you never get your items. Can you imagine that? You just spent $3,000 thinking that all you have to do is resell them and you're going to have financial stability, and then you never get your items. And it's just preying on the fact that the majority of people are struggling financially, that wages, income they do not go as far as they used to, at least in Canada. The cost of living is outrageously high. More and more people need more than one job. Knowing this, scammers are being creative and figuring out ways to target the most vulnerable people, like Anastasia said. Oh, it makes me sad. Because we've all been in a position where we're not making enough money, where we're a bit vulnerable or very vulnerable in some way. Maybe we're naive. Maybe we don't have a lot of life experience yet. And it's just so many people could fall prey to something like this. And it makes me feel sad. So here are some warning signs that a scammer may be trying to deceive you. We're not going to read every single word on this page, but we'll read some of it. Unnecessary calls. A scam caller tends to call persistently, trying to pressure you into accepting what they're offering. Often, they may claim you lose the opportunity to apply for a job if you don't immediately respond or agree to the terms. Don't harass people. And again, I can understand that. If someone is harassing you, just like in MLM, someone is harassing you and they're not taking no for an answer, I could see how some people might just want to say, okay, fine, just to get this person off their back. This isn't a good one, because if you're looking into a job opportunity with a real company, you're probably going to have a human resources expert write highly professional emails with proper spelling and punctuation and grammar. And scammers will often have spelling mistakes in their emails, which is, just make sure you read your emails from potential employers and just really try to determine whether or not it's professional writing. And you may be able to tell if someone is trying to scam you. Fake accounts and websites. An obvious warning sign concerning these accounts is that they're scant on information or newly created. Love that. I don't love it, but that's good advice. Check the websites. Really determine whether or not you think they have adequate information and when they were created and when they were last updated. Scammers trying to access your information often request your personal details up front. They may ask for documentation such as proof of residence or financial statements with the promise of a direct connection to job opportunities. I hate that so much. You do not need to provide documents to apply for a job. Lucrative job offers. You may receive a tempting offer for a job that comes with a high salary but vague details. The scammer is hoping to lure you with the promise of riches while the job likely doesn't exist. If you apply, you may find the employer asking you to pay fees or reveal sensitive details. So, this is where the unfamiliar software thing was. If you are getting an offer for an interview and they ask you to download a really random, strange software to do the interview, then it is likely not a legitimate company, because legitimate companies may use Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts, Zoom. What else? FaceTime, is that something that companies use in the United States? Skype, just the well-known pieces of software, and if it's one that you've never heard of before, it potentially could be a scam. So do not install unfamiliar pieces of software on your computer. So these are ways that we can protect ourselves against job scams. We've already talked about this. Do your research. Yes, a big one. If the email handle of the employer's, for a real job, a legitimate job, you might find, for example, the email handle of the employer's human resources department. If you receive a recruitment email from a different handle, you can tell that the sender is a scammer. Exactly. Check the emails, please. Check the at whatever, because I get these emails all the time from random banks that I'm not actually a customer of, and it'll be like, customer service at blah 52zqh.ca/whatever. And you know right away when you check the email and it's like that, then it's a scam. I'm not being very eloquent right now, and I'm sorry. Verify website security. This is an interesting one, which I did not know about. You can avoid illegitimate jobs by verifying websites and the security measures. Make sure the web address includes HTTPS semicolon that. Just how all websites start, like all web addresses start, not with a period. This verifies that the site is both authentic and secure. You can also determine how long the site has been active and who owns it by inputting its URL into a domain age and website registry tool. And again, if that's the only true sign of a scam, say the email came from apparently a legitimate source, say you've done your research, the scammers are covering their asses, and the only sign that it's a scam is that there's a dot, that there's that little dot that I just highlighted. I can imagine how many people don't notice that little dot, even if they do their due diligence in the rest of the application process. Yes, obviously trust your instincts. If you think it's a scam, it might be a scam. I can understand if you're stressed about trying to find a job, you've been looking for months and months and you haven't had any luck. I feel like we would want you to not be scammed out of your hard-earned money. And I understand it's hard because you may be struggling a lot financially, may be desperate financially, but just trust your instincts and just cut off all contact with the scammer if you think you could potentially be getting scammed. Protect your bank account info, protect your social insurance number, your credit card number. Do not share any of that early in the process. Only share it once you've had an offer, once there's a reason for them to need your financial information, such as payment or credit checks. I've had people ask for credit checks, but they don't need a credit check at the beginning before you even interview. Look for complaints. This is a good one. Better Business Bureau. You can go there to see whether or not the company you're applying for has negative reviews, whether or not other people have been scammed out of their hard-earned money. And That's also a really good piece of advice on top of researching the company to make sure they actually have a website that is not newly created, that has a legitimate amount of information. You check their email to make sure it's coming from a legitimate email. You also check to make sure that the email you're getting is written in a professional manner with proper spelling. With proper spelling. And something that I noticed, but not everyone would, if in Canada, as a Canadian, if I were to receive an email from a seemingly Canadian company and they do not put the U's in words like color or favorite, and they don't have the Canadian spelling, the British spelling for a lot of the words, then I would know. I'd be like, that's a little bit strange. That could be a sign of a scam. Okay, let's look at the next one. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I hope you guys are finding this relatively interesting. Oh, where is the one I actually wanted to? This is it. Sorry. I need to open my second drink because my throat hurts. But I'm getting through this relatively quickly, which is good. Okay. Sorry, another drink break. So, say you've done all your due diligence, you've followed all the advice that LinkedIn just gave us, and you receive a job offer letter. How do we know if the job offer letter is actually legitimate? So I love this resource. I think it's great. Key characteristics of a legitimate job offer letter. Company information. A legitimate Canadian job offer letter should include detailed information about the hiring company, including its name, address, and contact details. The offer should clearly state the position being offered, including the job title, responsibilities, and any specific requirements or qualifications. We saw earlier that a sign of a job scam is limited details on the actual position. When you are receiving a legitimate job offer letter, should have a title and a detailed description of the tasks you'd be required to do, the knowledge that you need to have, and the qualifications that you need to have for the position. The letter should outline the offered salary along with additional benefits such as health insurance, vacation time, and retirement plans. Ensure the currency is specified. I love that. Yes. If you're in the US, it should be USD, US dollars. Clearly specify the location where the work will be performed, whether it's a specific office, city, or remote work arrangement. And if we are in a company, in a larger company, say, we probably have a specialized human resources department with experts whose job it is to write these offer letters and provide offers to prospective employees. Or in smaller places, it could just be written potentially by an executive assistant or admin assistant. However, the admin assistant would be required to follow a specific format that has very similar information to what we're seeing now. So if it's from any legitimate company, it might not be the exact structure, but all of these different properties will be in a legitimate job offered letter. The offer letter should include details about the terms of employment, such as start date, duration of employment, and any probationary periods. Clearly outline the standard working hours or any specific work schedule requirements. Hey, Lisa! We just looked at common job scams, and now we're learning about what a legitimate job offer letter in Canada would include. Conditions of employment. Specify that any conditions that need to be met for the job offer to remain valid, such as completion of a background check or obtaining necessary work permits. See, we don't need to do background checks before we get an offer. We don't. Provide contact information for the person the candidate can reach out to with any questions or concerns regarding the job offer. Closing date, legal language, signatures from both the employer and the employee should sign the job offer letter to acknowledge acceptance and agreement with the terms outlined. Yes, signatures. Clarity and transparency. The language used in the offer should be clear, concise, and easy to understand, leaving no room for ambiguity. Yes, a job offer letter will be straightforward. You shouldn't have to sit there and piece together what they're actually offering you. And come directly from the employer, not from a third party organization. I don't think I've seen this before. In most cases, include a labor market impact assessment number and an offer of employment number. However, this is on a Canadian immigration law firm website, so maybe if they're offering positions to brand new immigrants to Canada potentially, then maybe they would need this LMIA number, although I've never had that before. I've had one experience where it was not a scam, but strangely, I just applied to be a substitute at a daycare, and I was brought in for an interview right away, which I thought not brought in for an interview, brought in for a shift right away, which I thought was really weird. But I went in, it was a real daycare. It was a terrible daycare. I had 1 4-hour shift. Nobody talked to me the entire time. I didn't know what I was doing. I left thinking, I'm not going to call them again. I don't want to work here. And like 2 weeks later, they wanted me to submit some payment info so they could pay me, right? And I did that and they paid me and it was fine. But knowing what I know now, if I was offered a job without having an interview, I would know now with my knowledge now, I would not accept it. I would have not gone to the location because that is sketchy. Just because I appear to have a good resume does not mean I would be a good employee. Okay. Next. Okay, good. I'm good and zoomed in. We are on the R Scams subreddit here. Let's do read more. This was from 4 months ago. Hi all. I've been job hunting for a while now and was beginning to feel the desperation that comes with a lack of success. And unfortunately today, desperation resulted in me responding to what I believe is a scam and potentially putting important private information at risk. I'm sure we all relate to this. I'm sure we've all been desperately searching for a reasonable job that we felt we could do well at, that we could advance at. Maybe we are watching our bank accounts, wondering how much longer we can go without a job. And I could see how in a moment of weakness, someone would provide private information to people they should not have done so with, and felt really terrible about themselves after. However, it's not your fault if something like this happens to you. We are all desperate at times, and that desperation could cloud our critical thinking skills. It's not our fault. Woke up this morning to an email that was as follows. Hello, Anon. I contacted you yesterday with a job offer, and unfortunately, I did not receive your reply. I would like to confirm once again that our company is interested in your candidacy for the position of remote administrative assistant. We are currently looking for a remote administrative assistant in your area to expand our business to other Canadian provinces. You have the necessary skills to carry out the tasks required. Once again, I invite you to read in detail the job description file, which is attached at the link below. If you are interested in this position, please fill in the enclosed employment application form online and return it today. I want to draw your attention to the fact that we are looking for a representative of your company, of our company in your region. You will have the opportunity to work from home. You can read more about that in the job description. Okay, looking at this, it doesn't look terrible. It's not horribly written. It seems relatively professional. But the interesting part is the sense of urgency, right? If you're interested, please complete the form and return it today. Of course, this company is looking to expand into my region of the country, like such an interesting coincidence. And of course, it seems like this individual, did not actually apply to this job opportunity, but somehow there is a job offer sitting in his email. Interesting. And it's a remote position. Maybe there's some data entry involved in this. And I wonder, like we learned from the LinkedIn article, is the pay exorbitantly high for potentially an entry-level position? We're not going to know. And then it continues here. Our company will also provide you with the opportunity to take training to improve your qualifications with the aim of further career development. You will have the right to choose to accept our offer of full-time or part-time employment. And again, this email is not horribly written. It is just awkward use of words. You have the right to choose to accept instead of you can accept our offer of full-time or part-time employment. Okay, let's just finish this paragraph. Sorry. I'll be happy to provide you with more detailed information about the position and our company. If successful, we could become good colleagues as this position serves as my assistant. Have a nice day and do not hesitate to contact me with any questions. Interesting part, it says this position serves as my assistant, and then it says you can accept for a full or part-time position. But how many assistants are you hiring? Because usually, I don't know, it just seems weird that this person's making it an option. You can choose between full or part-time, but wouldn't they know if they actually need a full or a part-time assistant and just say, this is a full-time position? It just seems interesting that there appears to be so much flexibility, right? Because that's another sign of a scam, offering you significant flexibility in your schedule. And I wonder, in this job posting, the opportunity to take training, does that come out of our own pocket? Are we sending it to this scammy company on the internet? And then once they have our money, are they disappearing with our money and cutting off contact with us? And then here, it just has he put in fake information. And here is more of his experience. I need to cough. Excuse me. Okay, I'm ready. Turns out they sent an email the previous day and it had gone to my spam folder. That really should have been enough of a tip-off. The website looked legitimate enough, but is now no longer functioning. The link brought me to a JOT form, job application form. The private information I provided was my full legal name, age, home address, phone number, email, and digital signature, which I'm worried about the most. The form also asked a yes or no question whether or not I contacted the person who would be my manager yet, to let them know I'd fill out the form, and if not, to do so. I've not heard back from this email so far, but the website seems to no longer be hosted. I haven't accepted any checks or anything and definitely won't going forward. But how fucked am I in regards to what information I did provide them? They don't have my social insurance number or any of my IDs, but is the information I did provide enough for them to do damage? I'm worried about identity theft or having my bank account drained. Okay, what did he provide? Okay, he did not provide his credit card number or his social insurance number, which is really good. I can imagine the feeling of panic when you realize that you've just been hoodwinked, and then I would just be obsessing over whether or not they could do damage with the information that I did provide, and I could just imagine how scary that would be. A big red flag is the website. They said the website looked legitimate enough. The link, I'm not sure if that was the link to the website or the link to the application. It brought them to a JotForm job application form. I've seen JotForms before, and it's not the most professional. That I'm trying to think of jobs I've applied to that required applications. It's usually, I don't know how they format it, but it's usually just like within the broader company website, and you fill in information about your experience, about your salary expectations, and then there's a spot to download or drag and drop your resume and your CV. But I've never had to fill out a Jot form. Have you had to do that? That seems like a red flag as well. Anytime I was hiring for a position on my team, if I needed a full-time person, I would have interviewed someone who said they were only interested in part-time. Exactly. I have been responsible for helping to hire someone only one time. It was for a summer student at my old workplace, and I'm trying to think, how did that process go? I didn't write the job posting, but I was like, all the job applications came to my email, and then yeah, we just picked 4 people out of the like 200 people to come and interview, and yeah. And we had detailed information about their job description, what they would actually have to do, their payment, their hours. Like Lisa just said, the fact that it was full-time hours for the summer. And so there's like not, you can take sick time if you need to, but like there's not much flexibility here. These are the hours that you have to work. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And that was all said up front. There was no wishy-washy language. Hey Julie, how's it going? Nice to see ya. Aw, I feel really, really stupid, Reddit, because I was really, really stupid. No, you weren't. So some of the friends here were being really nice and helping this person understand that they're probably fine. So, regarding the information that the poster said he provided the scammers, most of that information anyone can probably find out about you online. And apparently, the digital signature was at the end of the form. Basically, there were a bunch of questions to fill out and answer. Then at the end, you sign the form, and it had its own little box. This person said, I wouldn't be concerned with the digital signature personally. That doesn't have to do with the job scams MO. It's not an instant money maker, which is the goal here. I love that these people were being so nice to him. They were really like helping reassure him that his identity is probably safe. Without your social or IDs, there's really no way for them to get into your bank account. If you'd like, monitor it closely for a week or so and make sure to, oh, love this advice, 2-factor authentication are in place, and I wouldn't worry. The info you gave them is all really low value. I could find the info on you from one of dozens of the people finding websites, usually for $1 or $2. Exactly. Exactly. Just don't give them your SIN, your social insurance number. Do not give them your credit card information. So I wanted to read this. Oh no. Oh, okay, that's fine. But my throat kind of hurts. We will try. Maybe we'll skim it because Tammy's experience with job scams is quite intense, and I thought it was interesting. No notifications. This is on Global News website, globalnews.ca. The increase in the cost of living has contributed to more people looking for work, and some of those are being targeted by scammers. Calgary administration specialist Tammy Postma has been looking for a job since her last contract ended in April. She told Global News the job hunt has been a full-time job. especially when it comes to staying away from job scams. I hate that so much. Yes, a job hunt is a full-time job. It's exhausting. I'd be working pretty much full time at my other job, and then in the evenings I would apply for jobs at home. On the weekends I'd go to the public library and apply for jobs there. I did it all the time. I barely had time to just relax and unwind because it's all I was thinking about because I was in a financially vulnerable state. Somehow I never had to go to a food bank, but even for the time, I was barely making any money. Like, majority of my money was going to rent. The vast, vast majority. I've been scammed at least 8 times, at least, she said. It's gotten worse this past year. Postma said almost every email she gets about a job posting is fake, even though it looks legitimate. She said they come on a company letterhead complete with a formal application. She's even had interviews with the hiring manager on virtual sites, but then the catch, they ask for financial information. He sent me a message and he was asking me for all of my banking information so that he could get into my bank account, she said. So his accountant could deposit money into my bank account. She's even been sent fake checks by a prospective employer. So people are trying to get into her account by claiming, oh, well, we need this to pay you. No, they just want to steal your money. It's terrible. They wanted me to send a check. They wanted to send me a check, a copy of a check, and I'm to print it out and deposit it into my bank account. If I had deposited the check and taken the money out or used it to pay bills, the bank would come after me for that money. Don't cash these checks. Do not cash them, she advised. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Fuck. Sorry, friends. I don't know why this is highlighted. That's really weird. That's weird. A Better Business Bureau investigation earlier this year showed job scams would skyrocket in 2023. In the first 3 months of the year, the BBB Scam Tracker received reported job scam losses of nearly 840,000, up 250% compared to the same time last year. Mary O'Sullivan Anderson, president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau serving Southern Alberta and East Kootenay, told Global News that the BBB is definitely seeing an increase in job scams. Right now, it's that time of year, spending may be up, and so is the need to earn more money, O'Sullivan Anderson pointed out. And what we are seeing is more people are falling victim for some of these job scams. O'Sullivan Anderson said these scams can be really advanced and be posted on popular platforms that job seekers may see as secure. The information that is coming out seems very legitimate, and that's what's really scary about it. Make sure that you're verifying their website, their address. Not all businesses have bricks and mortar, but there are other ways to substantiate whether or not they're a legitimate business. The BBB points out that the scam is often not immediate. The scammers often have a long game and will lure you into a discussion to start building trust. The key, if it looks too good to be true, it likely is. If you're suddenly getting an offer and you know you don't have the experience, it's offering a lot of flexibility, remote work, excessive pay or high pay. You just might want to slow down and ask yourself, is it legitimate? I love that. Just slow down, really evaluate what you're receiving, what information you have in front of you. Think, okay, I'm offered this brilliant salary, but I just got out of school and I don't have any experience. Maybe I should talk to some friends who graduated a few years ago and see what they're making now. See what they were making when they first got out of school. I love that. That's great advice. So we already saw these tips. Check the email addresses. Be cautious while providing personal info. I've never done this before. Maybe I can start doing this. Oh, fuck, sorry. Find a number on the business's website and call them to verify the job offer is real. I've never done that before. Have you guys? Never pay for a job. Never. Never pay for a job. Yeah, so let's see. When was this posted? So it was posted in December 12th, 2023. So that's all I have for today. Yay, I'm back. My throat was just hurting. So I was like, I should just have my camera off. I cut my bangs earlier and now I'm looking, I'm like, are they even? They don't look very even. Whoops. So, what did we learn today? We learned that scammers can try to steal our identity and our money in a variety of different ways. You could have fake job postings. You could have people who are pretending to be career consultants trying to get money off of you. There are a variety of work from home scams that have the aim of stealing your info or stealing your money. We learned to protect ourselves. We are able to research the company. We can call the company to verify the job posting is real. We can ensure that if we do receive a job offer, that it's legitimate, that it has all the required information, that the details of your job, if you have an offer, are not obscure, abstract, that it's clear, that you clearly understand what you would be doing in this job, that the pay is not seeming too good to be true, because if it is, then it's likely false. What else did we learn? We just spent like an hour talking about it and now my brain is gone. Protect your personal information. Do not give out your social insurance number, your credit card information early in the process. They do not need that until after you have the offer. And you never pay an employer to apply for a job. And the sad part is, as I said earlier, people who may be new to the country or who are inexperienced, who've never applied for jobs before, may not know that the biggest red flag of paying for an interview, paying for a position, is not normal. It's not average, and that is the biggest sign of a scam. So it's very sad to me that these scammers are preying off of people's vulnerabilities, people's desperation, people's financial instability to trick them into giving them all their money or getting their personal information so they can try to steal their identity. And the example that we read from Reddit, the man, I think it's a man, but the person seemed very upset, which is rightfully so, feeling really dumb that they fell for this, but they were in a position of desperation and probably didn't take a second to think it through and look at all the information and determine whether or not it was a legitimate offer. And it's not your fault if this happens to you. These people are scammers and these people know how to prey on vulnerable people. Bangs and Stream are great. I'm looking at them and I'm like, they're crooked. They're crooked. I just cut them earlier. So that's all I have. Oh, and the interesting one, we learned how to, I'm going to go back and share this because I did not know this. And this is a good tip for all of us. Great tip. A way to verify the website security is a legitimate website will have this format at the beginning, right? An illegitimate website that is not authentic and secure may or may not have a little period. Literally, that is it's so frustrating because 99% of people aren't going to notice that. And one other thing we learned, check the email of the person sending you the potential offer, and it's a huge red flag if you're getting an offer for something you never applied for, you didn't interview for, but make sure the email comes like the at Hotmail or at Yahoo, that it's like has the company name in it of some form. It could be an abbreviation, but if it's coming from a purported HR hiring manager, and it doesn't have the company name in the email, then it's likely a scam. Hi, catching up. Love this topic. My partner spends too much time online, forgetting he has Alzheimer's and looking at jobs. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jolene. Yeah, there's so much, so many. Let me try that again. So much potential for being taken advantage of online, and it's very sad, and just makes me sad that people may think it's their fault if something like this happens to them. But just remember that these people are trained scammers. They know how to target people, and it's just not your fault. So that's all I have for today. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was an interesting topic to learn about together. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I am going to go live again on Wednesday evening, so I'd love it if you guys could join me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go shovel a shit pile of snow out in the dark and the cold. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye!